Dear students, today we are continuing the preparation of journal entries, plus 1 accountancy preparation of journal entry. Before studying the preparation of journal entry, I want to explain what you studied in the previous classes. Just I explain what are the golden rules of accounting. There are 3 accounts: personal account, real account, nominal account. There are 3 types of account. Each account is having 2 aspects: debit aspect and credit aspect. Personal account is having debit aspect and credit aspect. Real account is having debit aspect and credit aspect. Nominal account is also having debit aspect and credit aspect. The rules of the personal account is debit the receiver, credit the giver. The rule of the real account is debit what comes in, credit what goes out. The rule of the nominal account is debit all expenses or losses, credit all incomes or gains. These are the rules of the accounting. Double entry system bookkeeping. We have 3 accounts: personal account, real account, nominal account. Debit the receiver, credit the giver. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Debit all expenses or losses, credit all incomes or gain. These are all the points we studied in the previous class. Today, I want to give some questions which is given in our textbook. So please take the notes and study. You will write all this information in the accountancy book. First of all, you write the first page contains these rules. You have to draw a column and write these rules first. The first page contains these rules of journal entries. All of you, please take the accountancy notebook and write the rules one by one. You can write in the vertical manner or in horizontal manner. Anyway, the first page contains the rules of journal. Personal account, real account, nominal account. Debit the receiver, credit the giver. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Debit all expenses or losses, credit all incomes or gain. Dear students, I will tell the same rules again and again in the coming entire 2 years. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Debit all expenses or losses, credit all incomes or gain. Debit the receiver, credit the giver. These are all the words I will tell repeatedly. So, first page in accountancy notebook, first page contains the rules of journal. You just copy it. Okay. Then I want to explain some problems. I have planned to explain 10 questions. I have 10 questions in my hand. So try to do all the problems one by one. This class is a fundamental class. So please listen the class very carefully and try to do the problem which is given in the back side of the textbook. You never use the guide. You never copy it. You will study yourself. Then I want to explain the question number 1. Question number 1. First, I have 10 questions. If time permits, I will complete the entire 10 questions within this class. I am going to take the class just for 20 minutes. This is a fundamental class, so I will explain in just 20 minutes. So please listen the class carefully. If the 10 questions are not completed, we will continue in the next class. So first question, we have to classify the account. classify the account. Already we studied there are three types of account. Number one, personal account. Number two, real account. Number three, nominal account. There are three types of account already. You are all having some idea about three types of account. I have 9 questions. From this question, we have to classify whether it is a personal account, or real account, or nominal account. Question number 1, capital account, whether it is a personal account, or real account, or nominal account, you have to find. Then building account. Question number 3, carriage inwards account. Carriage inwards account. Number 4, cash account. Number 5, commission received account. Number 6, bank account. Number 7, purchases account. Number 8, Sundar account. Number 9, outstanding wages account. So dear students, we have 9 questions. Question number 1 contains 9 questions. You have to find out whether it is a personal account, real account, or nominal account. All the accounts are comes under these 3 categories of account. Any one of the 3 categories of account. Then capital account. Capital account is a personal account, or real account, or nominal account. We have to find. Capital is contributed by the proprietor. So the capital contributed by the proprietor. Proprietor is the person. So it is capital is the personal account. Building. Building is the real account, because building is an asset. If I have one building, if I have a house, that I have a shop, that means it is an asset for us, for me. So building is the real account. Any account which explains about the assets, it is called as a real account. Building is an asset. Capital is contributed by the person. So capital is the personal account. Building is the real account. Carriage inwards. Carriage inwards is an expenditure. If it is an expenditure, it is a nominal account. Expenditure or income is considered as a nominal account. So carriage inwards is the nominal account. Then cash. Cash means asset. If I have 10,000 rupees, it is an asset. So cash is the real account. It is considered asset. Commission received. Just like a carriage inwards. Carriage inwards is an expenditure, but a commission received is an income. So commission received is the nominal account. Then bank account. Bank is the personal account. Bank means it may be the IOB Bank, Indian Overseas Bank, or State Bank of India, or Tamil Nadu Mercantile Bank, or Punjab National Bank. These are all indicates about the name of the person. Personal account includes natural person as well as artificial person. The artificial person is considered as banks, are considered as an artificial person. So bank is the personal account. There is no doubt. Personal account. If we have deposited money into the bank, the banker is receiving the money. So banker is the personal account. Then purchases account. Purchases account is actually a real account. You never consider as expenditure. Purchased goods means stock comes in second. Stock is the real account. Stock can be converted to cash. So purchases is the real account. Purchases is not considered as an expenditure. In some of the books, Purchases is considered as expenditure, but it is a wrong procedure. Purchases is actually a real account. Purchases means the goods are purchased for the purpose of resales. So purchases is a real account. It is not considered as an expenditure. The purchased goods are converted into cash. Cash is the real account. Like stock is the other is called as a purchases. Then Chandar account. Chandar is a person. So it is a personal account. Then important point, outstanding wages. Wages is the nominal account. Very, very important point. Wages is a nominal account because it is a expenditure. Outstanding wages is considered as a personal account. A person is working in our institution, the wages is not yet paid. So the proprietor is responsible to pay that wages. So wages is a nominal account, outstanding wages is considered as a personal account. So very, very important point, wages is the nominal account, but outstanding wages is a personal account. It is considered as a representative personal account. Here, personal account, there are three categories of person. Capital contributed by the proprietor. So this person is the natural person. Bank, IOB Bank, or State Bank of India, or Tamil Nadu Mercantile Bank, these are all considered as an artificial person. Then outstanding wages is also a personal account, but it is considered as a representative personal account. Natural person, artificial person, representative person, these all are considered as a personal account. So dear students, once again I explain what I explained. Question number 1, 9 question, 9 heads of accounts are given. Capital is the personal account. Building is the real account. Carriage inwards is the nominal account. Cash is the real account. Commission received is the nominal account. Bank is the personal account. Purchases is the real account. Chanda is the personal account. Outstanding wages is also considered as a personal account. So question number 1, please write the answer. The first page contains in your accountancy book, first page contains the rules. Second page contains this question. First of all, you write capital, then you put a dash and write personal account, building real account. Like this, you have to write this question. Then question number 1 is completed. Then some exercises are given in our textbook. So we have to prepare the journal entries through exercises. Then question number 1 is completed. Then I want to give question number 2, but in the textbook it is given as exercises. Please take the journal chapter and open the textbook. We can easily identify it. If you have accountancy textbook, try to open the page, open the journal chapter and study the questions one by one. Here I want to write as question number 2, but in the textbook exercise number 1 is given. So do one by one. Somu, who is the proprietor of the business. Somu commenced business with cash rupees 50,000. Somu is a proprietor. He started business with cash. This is called as a transaction. Already we studied the word transaction. Transaction means transfer of money or money's worth from one person to another person is considered as transaction. So this is the transaction. Somu commenced the business with the cash rupees 50,000. This is the one of the transactions. In the accounting procedure, in the double entry system of bookkeeping, each transaction has 2 accounts. The first duty is we have to classify 2 accounts. Number 1, Somu account. Number 2, cash account. In this transaction contains 2 accounts. Number 1, Somu account. Number 2, cash account. Somu is the proprietor. So here we write Somu's capital account. Instead of Somu, we will write Somu's capital account and cash account. So then we classify, first duty is we have to classify what are the two accounts in the transaction. Somu's capital is the first account, cash account is the second account. This is a transaction. This transaction contains two accounts. Number one, Somu's capital account. Number two, cash account. Then, Somu's capital account is the personal account. Already we studied. Cash account is the real account. Then we apply the rule. This is a transaction. I repeat the same words again and again. Somu commenced business with a capital of rupees 50,000. So this is one of the transactions. Out of this transaction contains two accounts. Number one, Somu's capital account, and number two, cash account. Cash account is the real account. Somu's capital account is the personal account. One transaction contains two aspects. Number one is debited, number two is credited. Then which account is debited and which account is credited? That is very, very important. Somu started business. He gave money to the business. 50,000 rupees is given to the business by Somu. Somu is a proprietor. Somu and business is different. He contributed capital into the business. So this 50,000 rupees comes into the business. Somu is the giver of this cash. So this transaction contains two accounts. Somu's capital account is a personal account. Cash account is the real account. Cash comes into the business. Somu is the giver of this cash. Then we apply the rule. The rule of the capital account is, or the rule of the personal account is, debit the receiver, credit the giver. So this account is credited. CR is the abbreviation for credit. Somu is the giver of this cash. Debit the receiver, credit the giver. So Somu's capital account is credited. Then the rule of the real account is debit what comes in and credit what goes out. So debit what comes in. So this account is debited. This is the explanation about first transaction. Then how do we write this in the journal? Already I once again explained. Somu, a proprietor of the business. Normally proprietor started the business. So the proprietor, the word proprietor is not given. Somu is the proprietor. This Somu, the proprietor, commenced business, started business with cash rupees 50,000. So this 50,000 rupees comes into the business. Somu is the giver. So first duty is we have to classify two accounts. All the transaction contains two accounts. Number one, Somu's capital. Number two, cash account. Somu's capital is the personal account. Cash account is the real account. Then debit the receiver, credit the giver is the rule of the personal account. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out is the rule of the real account. So cash comes in, so cash account is debited. Somu is the giver, so this account is credited. How do we write it in the journal? In accountancy book contains these columns. If the column is not given, you have to draw it. First column date, second column particulars, then this column, small column is ledger folio, and another column debit and credit. Then, so this column is date, particulars, then ledger folio, debit, credit. You will write the answer in this manner. Here the date is in this transfer, the date is not given. So here you write, first you write the month, a year and month. We have to write today's date, 2021, June 24, particular sum. First we write the debit aspect. The debit aspect is entered from this end onwards. Cash account, debtor. Then leave 3 spaces and write to Somo's capital. Somo's capital account. This 50,000 is entered in debit side as well as credit column. Debit column 50,000, credit column 50,000. Here within bracket you have to write the brief history of a transaction. It is called as a narration. Somo commenced business. This is called as narration. Narration is the brief history of a transaction. So, second problem also completed. I want to explain the third question. Question number 3. Bought goods for cash rupees 4,000. This is another transaction. Bought goods for cash rupees 4,000. This transaction contains 2 accounts. Number 1, goods account. Number 2, cash account. The goods account is also called as purchases account. Bought goods, it is also, we use the word purchases, not goods. Try to use the word purchases. The goods accounts are classified into 4. Purchases, sales, purchases return, sales return. So, if the goods are bought for the purpose of resales, it is considered as purchases. If the purchased goods are sold, it is called as sales. Then, if we are not satisfied about the goods which are purchased, we have to return the goods to the supplier. So, it is considered as purchases return. Our customer return the goods, it is considered as a sales return. So, hereafter, instead of goods, we have to use the word purchases. In this account, there are 2 accounts. Number 1, goods account. Number 2, cash account. Instead of goods, we have to use the word purchases. So, 2 accounts are purchases account and cash account. Both accounts are real account. Purchase account is the real account. It is not an expenditure, it is an asset. Purchases is the real account. Cash is also a real account. Both are real account. The role of the real account is debit what comes in, credit what goes out. When we purchase the goods, goods comes in, cash goes out. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. This rule is applicable. Then, how do you write in the journal? The journal contains these columns. First column date, second column particulars, the next column ledger folio, debit and credit. Here you write today's date. Date is not given, so you write today's date, 2021 June 24. First write debit aspects. Purchases account. This purchases starts from this end. Purchases account debtor to cash account. Write the amount also, 4,000 rupees. In the ledger folio column is not at all used. The ledger folio column is not at all used. The page number is entered here, but in our problems, this ledger folio column is not at all used, but you have to draw this column. Here, within bracket, you will write the narration, bought goods for cash. This is the third question. Then fourth question, purchased goods from question number 4. Purchased goods from Rahul for rupees 10,000 on credit. This is the transaction. This transaction contains two accounts. Number 1 is purchases account. Number 2 is Rahul account. This is the credit transaction. Already we studied there are 3 types of transaction: cash transaction, credit transaction, and bank transaction. Here we purchased goods from Rahul on credit basis. The amount is not paid immediately, but the amount 10,000 rupees will be paid later. The 10,000 rupees will be paid later, not paid immediately. So it is a credit transaction. In that circumstances, we have to write the name of the customer, the name of the supplier. Rahul is the supplier. So purchases account is the real account. Rahul is the personal account. Then we apply the rule. When we purchase the goods comes in. Rahul is the giver of this cash. So debit what comes in, credit the giver. This is the procedure for doing the problem. Then we write the journal entry. Journal entry contains these columns: date column, particulars column, ledger folio column, debit and credit column. This column is date, particulars, ledger folio, debit and credit. This ledger folio column is not at all used. Then, how do you write? First we write the debit aspect. Purchases account debtor. Here you write the date 2021 June 24. Purchases account debtor to Rahul account. The amount 10,000. Here we write the narration. Bought goods on credit. Credit from Rahul. Dear students, I want to give one more question. I have 10 questions in my hands, but I am not able to complete the first 10 questions. I just complete one more question. Within the stipulated time, I am able to close. I am able to explain only 5 transactions. So 6th problem onwards you will do in the next class. I want to give one more problem. Question number 5. Cash paid to Rahul. This question contains, this transaction contains two accounts. Number one, cash account, and number two, Rahul account. Cash is the real account. Rahul is the personal account. Paid cash, so cash goes out. Rahul is the receiver of this cash. The rule of the personal account is debit the receiver. The rule of the real account is debit what comes in, credit what goes out. So first write the debit aspect. Then the same procedure. You have to write the answer in accountancy paper. Date, particulars, ledger folio, debit and credit. First you write debit aspect, date 2021 June 24. Rahul account at first we write the debit aspect. Rahul account debtor to cash account. Amount is 4,000. Total amount payable to Rahul is 10,000. Out of 10,000, now we paid only 4,000. Dear students, I want to finish the class now. Remaining class, we will study in the remaining question. We will study in the next class. You write all the answers in the accountancy notebook. God bless you.